Greatest Nigerian people. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, leaders of various civil society organizations, leaders of youth organizations that have come from the 36 states of Nigeria and the FCT, leaders of the middle-aged citizens groups, security agencies that have always been here with us and supporting. I welcome you all to this very grand gathering. About a year ago, a new government was inaugurated for our dear nation, Nigeria. And this government, being headed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was confronted with a plethora of challenges as a result of several decades of neglect by successive governments right from independence of our country, Nigeria. These challenges, which included the very monstrously hydra-headed subsidy regime, also the regulation of the forex market by subsidizing it also, and the substitution of local production for importation. Thus, our nation gradually went under the burden of huge financial deficits. The nation was bleeding, and no leader in over 6 decades of our nationhood as an independent country was able to take the bull by the horn. But when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came, in what we can only liken to an audacity of courage, he took the bull by the horn, ensured the end of the subsidy regime, ensured the flotation of the naira, and ensured that gradually local production sprung to life again. Indeed, the nation was bleeding, like Mr. President stated. But today, as the youth and middle-aged citizens of Nigeria, we have come to attest to the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, along with his dexterous team of administrators, have ensured that an end has come to the bleeding, and it is time for healing. Today we have gathered here as representatives of the millions of Nigerian youth across the Federation. We are here not just to celebrate, but to maintain a very strong resolve that we are giving the President a firm vote of confidence, and we will continually stand beside and behind Mr. President. In the last 1 year, several projects have been initiated by government, including road projects, prominent among which is the Coastal Highway, and the several projects that have been instituted or initiated across FCT. Just yesterday, we witnessed the commissioning of a blitzkrieg of projects across the FCT, and several others across the country will still be commissioned. It is not our duty to begin to regale you with the numerous projects in the agricultural sector, in the aviation sector, in the mining sector, in the Ministry of Interior, where we have seen a new regime of passport issuance, among several other achievements that have been attained. But today, we are here to state very clearly that Nigeria is ours to take, along with Mr. President. Greatest Nigerian people! Greatest Nigerian people! Let the message resonate across the length and breadth of our country, Nigeria, that the over 100 million Nigerian youth and middle-aged citizens are firmly in support of Mr. President. Are we in support of Mr. President? Yes! It has become very imperative to correct the wrong narrative, because there are those that are elements of disunity, elements of anarchy, fiendish individuals, sponsored by politicians, who are aware that elections have come and gone, but still bask in the euphoria of pre-election campaign. We want to state that as the youth of Nigeria, as the middle-aged citizens of Nigeria, as the civil society groups of Nigeria, we say a big no to the enemies of our country, Nigeria. And we say a big yes to fully and wholly supporting Mr. President. Let us also look at the fact that a new era is here upon us. An era where if we give the President the support and cooperation, Nigeria will march to the front lines in the Committee of Nations. Nations have experienced challenges. Nigeria is not the first. We have seen Lee Kuan Yew in his famous book From Third World to First regale how the Singaporean economy moved forward. Under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are very confident that with the framework that has been set, Nigeria is rapidly moving forward. Let us also emphasize on the fact that the good news for the Nigerian youth is the legislative synergy with the executive that has ensured a seamless passage of bills over time, and most of the bills are youth-centric. We want to also state the fact that Mr. President has considered the appointment of youth in this government. But apart from the appointment of youth, we want to invite the Nigerian youth to be aware that there are estuaries of opportunities. The Nigerian Youth Investment Fund has been expanded to over 100 billion naira. The funds by Smedan in partnership with Sterling Bank and several other funds in the creative industry have also been created. We invite the youth to take hold of these bold initiatives. We want to assure the Nigerian youth that we will be the bond between you and the government. But it is upon us to ensure that the new order that has emerged will come to fruition and to full life. Finally, before my tongue ceases to oscillate on this matter, let us state clearly that no nation develops faster than her security and her sovereignty. We therefore use this medium to pass a firm vote of confidence on our service chiefs. We saw and we have seen that in the last 1 year, there has been a reinvigorated fight against terrorism, a reinvigorated fight against insecurity. We are achieving successes. We may not be where we ought to be, but we have moved away out of the desert lands. We have moved away out of the swamps. We have moved away out of the wilderness of insecurity. But again, there is a need for a collaborative effort between the youth, between the citizenry and the security agencies. Let us give the security agencies the full support. In the coming days, weeks and months, we will be taking these initiatives across the 36 states of the Federation. It is time for Nigeria to move forward. The bleeding has ended. Let the healing begin. And together, we shall build the great Nigeria of our dreams, hinged on patriotism, optimism, and with a renewed hope. God bless Nigeria. God bless us all. Greatest Nigerian people!
Yay! Mr. President, sorry, before you leave.
My name is Chief Mike Imsoan, MON. I was a full participant in the last administration from the youth wings. And I think I should be able to speak what happened in the last government and this government. On the issue of Mr. President performance, I will score him more than 75%. Yes, last administration, by this time, there were a lot of insecurity. The farmers and headers crisis were almost in many part of the state. Today, you cannot hear about it. The Kaduna Abuja-Kaduna road was not applicable or to have enough escort. Even generals were following that road. We were using train to apply that road. Today, you can go to that road anytime, even in the middle of the night. On the issue of infrastructure development, you are here, you are in Abuja, you are in FCT, you can attest to it. You are journalist, you have information sometimes better than we do. The government has done so far with 1 year. For us to examine the government 1 year in office, it's a pass mark, and we are believing that by the time that Asoju finishes his first 4 years, Nigeria will be super. That is our belief, and that is our trust. because we believe in his capacity, a seasoned administrator, a competent team that he has assembled from the legislative arm of the government to the executive arm of the government to the judicial. They're all competent. The secretary of the government of the federation, a former governor, a former senator, a former minister, is the permanent secretary who understands all the working of the government. These are the teams that the astrology is working with, and these are teams that will not afford to fail us, and they are giving us expectations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Basically, I still remain Comrade Kabir Matazu. The last 1 year has been a year of turbulence, has been a year that Mr. President is changing the trajectory, the course of this nation to usher in an era of prosperous development for the advancement of the progress of this country. As we all know, the first thing Mr. President did when he assumed office was to remove the infamous fuel subsidy regime, and we believe that is the foundation upon which that will turn the economy of this country. And my major focus and concern is the area of security. You know, government is meant to ensure security and welfare of the people. That is, in fact, the primary purpose of government. And in the area of security, the president has put in the right team in place to ensure security, peace and stability of this country. Especially, I want to use this opportunity to commend the National Security Advisor for a job well done, because he has brought synergy and ensure proper coordination of the multifaceted security agencies that we have in the country to ensure that Nigeria remain peaceful, sound and secure for economic development to take place. Thank you very much. Actually, what is happening in Kano is very unfortunate. We had a situation whereby people no longer have respect for pronouncement of competent court of law, and that's very unfortunate. Democracy cannot survive if its operators continuously conspire to subvert the system, and those in authority refuse to obey injunction of competent court of law. It's unfortunate, but we hope and pray that peace and normalcy will return to Kano and the right thing should be done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.